Hello everybody, Terry Jenkins, founder of ETAC Inc, USVeteranJobs.com. As part of this Food for Thought series, I put together a couple different videos on just conversations that I have with vets a lot, different questions they have, different things that come up, just some general advice that I wanted to throw out there to everybody else. It helps our veterans. So maybe other veterans out there that aren't doing our program, they can get some benefit out of that as well. So just kind of backyard recording a couple of these. This one I want to go over price. I get asked all the time, why do you charge the vets to come in your program? Why do you choose to only use GI Bill a certain way? Why does the vet have to pay something? Who pays the rest? Why would the employer want to pay? So I just wanted to take a couple minutes to talk about that because it's actually a really important topic. First, I didn't want to be a nonprofit. Nonprofits to me, not all of them, so I'm not dinging nonprofits, but a lot of nonprofits can quickly become, companies on welfare. They get addicted and dependent on donations and grants and charities. And a lot of times the programs they have, they don't even have to be successful, and yet they can continue to maintain. So I wanted to be a for-profit company. I wanted to make sure that this unique thing I was setting out to do, that nobody could change that direction on me. So I wanted to have the control, but I also wanted it to be completely a capital marketed type of thing. I want to be able to look a vet straight in the eye and say, if I'm full of crap, then you lose $500 and I lose my house and everything I have. I want you to trust that the program is dependable because it's still up and running, it's still going. The other thing about the money, the way we do it is it's kind of important, I guess, first to understand my perspective on some of the problems I have with vets that are in the market. The GI Bill and veteran benefits have literally created a scenario where it's a military veteran welfare system. Veterans get themselves in a lot of trouble because they assume VA approved means good to go, and they don't go out there and check the market and do their research. We are going through the process to become one of the very few companies that's nationally approved by Department of Labor as well as the VA. But even in that process, I chose not to go after a tuition model and do more of a OJT model. The reason I did that is because the kind of skills that we're putting out there, I want the vets to go vest in it, and today, the Forever GI Bill, it can be used for a lot of things. Getting a degree and coming out in the market, not necessarily going to break you in right now, especially in IT. So if I can get you a good career, get that established, help you get that going, and then a couple years later you go back and get your degree for some sort of management type thing, then I'd much rather do that. Because it's forever, a lot of people can give it to their children too. And in a world of student loans, why not? So that was one of the reasons I kind of went after the GI Bill and what we did there. I love to look at somebody that says, I haven't used any of my GI Bill, can I use it for the program? Well, yeah, you can use it for the program, but I advise you not to. So I wanted to set it up where it didn't depend on it. So the way that we charge out of this is a couple things. One, I want the vet to pay. I want the vet to pay something out of their pocket. I don't want to have that welfare system in there. So we ask vets to pay $500. That's non-refundable. We won't give it back, especially when they get frustrated and they want to quit the program. And the reason I do that is because this job search thing can be a timing issue, and they got a big hill to climb. And when they want to quit, I want them to hear my voice, basically saying, I'm not going to give you your money back. That way, they instead turn around and go, well, I guess Terry's not going to give my money back. I might as well stick with it for a couple more weeks. And that's important. So it's just enough money to sting if they want to quit. I think the stats say less than 2% of military people out in the world today actually complete their degrees, because it's not their money to lose. And I wanted to make sure that wasn't in our program. So we asked them to pay. We don't let anybody stop that from getting in. We do have people that $500 is something that takes them, a long time to get. And generally we do very complex contracts on that. Not really. I look at them, I say, you're a vet, integrity, honor, it's important to us, vet to vet. I'm gonna let you in the program, just square it away. When you got it, just square it away. But I also tell them that I can't do that for everybody. If I do that for everybody, then the company can't run. It is a for-profit company. So if you can pay now, because I've got some people that they're on their last $500. Not because they got PTSD or drugs and drinking. They have just been beat up. And you know, the more the vets can pay, the sooner the more that I can put in. It helps me keep the lights on. You know, I don't make profit off of that. Instead, when I go in with an employer, I look at the employer and I say, you know, basically, I want you to give this guy a chance. I believe in him. I believe in what he can do. If you give him a break, you could do that. Now, part of that is understanding my mentality. I don't think any veteran is entitled to anything. You raised your hand just like I did. We volunteered. I don't think you're entitled to anything. So I get people to say, hey, I should be able to come in this program for free. I'm a vet. And I generally will say, well, I shouldn't have to starve. I'm a vet. Then I hang up on them, because I don't want that type of mentality around other people that are in the program. The other thing I look at is I don't want people to come in and say, well, I paid you $500. You know, when do I get my job? It's not McDonald's. They're not chicken nuggets. This thing could take a long time. You know, there's a lot of factors that go in it, and most of that has to do with you. You know, if I'm more worried about supporting your children than you are, then something's broken. You can't pay me $500 to go buy a career. So, you know, that's a lot of the mentality that I look at. You know, and when I go into the companies, and I do this with the vets, we look at the company and we say, hey, we want you to give them a chance, because we think that they earned. They serve. They earn a break. Give them a shot. See what they can do. And in addition to that, we want you to invest in them. They're going to go through a lot of IT training. That's very, very expensive in the market. That's one of the reasons I did this company, is most of that training would never be available to vets, because it's priced, you know, in a corporate pricing model of $4,000 or $5,000 for 5 days. We're generally going to put a vet through 6 or 8, what would be equivalent if I was selling training, you know, which I don't. What would be equivalent of them going through 6 to 8 classes in a year, you know, the amount of skills and things they're going to learn. And when I tell companies that, for the most part, the reaction I get is like, wow, that's a lot of money, Terry. That's $30,000 or $40,000 worth of training. And these are the type of classes we want. This is, you know, you're learning about Cisco skills, you're learning about wireless and data center and security, things that are important out there. This is not low-end marginal training that you get, that most of these guys go through. And generally I'll get the reaction like, well, I wish I could have this for the rest of my team. And to that, I look at them and I say, well, you know what? If you hire this vet and you invest in him for the $6,000 for the year, and you got 10 other engineers over there, I'll let you send those other 10 engineers to go through the same exact classes they're going to go through. Every one of them, all 10, can do 6 to 8 classes. And I'll charge you a flat rate of $5,000 for the whole team of 10. And we got different prices for a team of 4, or maybe, you know, a team of 15. And generally the response is, well, that's actually even less than what I'm paying for the vet. And that could be hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of training if the guys went through every single class that they could possibly go through. And I go, I know, but that's not a discount. If you don't hire the vet, you get nothing. I don't sell training to individuals or to corporations. I'm giving you that as a reward. Very simple. You meet me in the street, Veterans Day, you walk up to me, you see me wearing my cool Air Force shirt that I'm wearing, and you're like, oh, I didn't know you're a vet. Thank you for your service. At this point, my reaction may be to punch you in the mouth, because I'm literally sick of the lip service. There's a guy behind you at the grocery store when you were buying $300 of beer and steak for Veterans Day. There's 2 people behind you trying to buy diapers and ramen noodles with quarters and nickels, because after 15 years in the service, the best they can do is a $9 an hour security guard job. Why didn't you thank them? So what I'm trying to say is, if you want to thank a vet for their service, which was done with years and years of action, then thank them with action. $6,000 for a company is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. Most of my peers are telling me, you know what, you're charging too little, Terry. They can pay $6,000, they can pay $20,000. I know, but I want them to be motivated. I want them to understand that $6,000 for the vet is everything. Giving the guy a shot, a break to prove himself, to start a career, is everything. And for that, I want to reward you in such a ridiculous way that I don't want you to ever forget it. I want you to go tell other people about it so I can get other vets in jobs. So there's a reason I charge what I charge. I don't want the vet looking at this as welfare. I want them to have some skin in the game. I'm going to look an employer in the eyes and say, if you give him a break, he's going to push hard. If he's not doing the training and you pay for it, then you can fire him and I'll kick him out of the program. If he's not doing his job but he's doing the training, you can fire him and I'll kick him out of the program. They have a lot riding on this, and because they put a little skin in the game, I've put some skin on the game. I'm not charging the kind of profits that I could. I mean, you go out here and look at some of these schools. They're getting an instructor for $300 or $400 a week, you know, $30,000, $40,000 a year, and they're charging $8,000, $9,000 a week for a class. They're making profit hands over fists. Maybe they're smarter running businesses than I am. But I think these guys matter more than that profit. And I think over time, I'll make more profit, you know, because I'll have better relationships and I'm incubating and mentoring and growing a expanding job field of wonderful people. So I don't want to overcharge for it right now. Maybe it makes me less money. Maybe I'm having to look at things a little tighter on myself than maybe I could, but you know what? They're going through a lot. I can go through a little bit too, and I'll wait for the money just like they are. So we put it in that way. It also sets up a scenario where when they pay me the $500, they're not getting the benefit of that $500 until they're in a job. I paid a $500. I don't get any profit because the little bit of profit margin I built was towards the company side. I got to grow. I got to make the company big. You know, so I'm going to do some profit, but I do that out of the corporate money because I don't want to take any profit off the vet. If I made this $2,000 for the amount of training and sessions and the mentoring that they get in the first 3 or 4 months, it's $30,000, $40,000 worth of services. I can't charge them that, or nobody could use it. And I need to fix the problem before I become wealthy. And, you know, so I want them to know that, hey, I got the same agenda you do. That $500, I got to get you in a job quick as possible. That $500, you got to get in a job quick as possible. Because that's essentially what we do. We're not giving them a silver bullet off the shelf. This is how you solve the problems in the rest of your life. We are coming along the side of them. I tell them, hey, if you don't follow me, you don't chase me down, you don't get anything, and you don't get your money back. You wasted my time, and your money. The idea of a mentoring program is, you know, I could be the guy that jumps in a lake full of leeches, but I can't make any leeches bite me. I can't force people to get mentored. So we set this up and we screen people out like that. I had a person I talked to a couple weeks ago. All they did in the military, nothing but Cisco. Extremely good skill set. Could be sitting out there making a lot of money. I asked them when they got out, said, oh, back in 2015. I'm like, oh man, I bet you've been doing something else and you just have no idea what you're worth. Nope. The answer was, I've been playing Xbox. I didn't believe him. I said, what do you mean you've been playing Xbox? You got a fiance and a little girl. How are you taking care of them? Oh, I'm taking a college class and, you know, once a week and I get the BHA off of that. We're living off of that. I said, really? You're not joking. You actually do play Xbox all day long. He said, yeah. I said, I'm sorry, but get the hell out of here. This program's not for you. I hung up on him. I'm not going to deal with people that don't want to help themselves because, one, it's a waste of my time. It's an insult to the other veterans that are in here doing the impossible. You know, some of these guys, they're way beyond that. I mean, they're in trouble because they can't get a job. I mean, some of them, it may be life-threatening. And they're going to fight to the tooth and nail and not take no for an answer, not take failure as a way to stop them. I'm not letting this guy in. And I can't go to an employer and look and say, hey, this is going to be a great vet, you know, as long as he's not in one of his modes to be lazy and sit and play Xbox all day. So there's a reason we charge. We know if a vet comes in our program, does the first 3 or 4 months to get a job, and then goes through the next 36 months going through the training and all the mentoring that we do, because, you know, the mentoring is not just training, it's guiding them through their careers, getting them to connect. Most veteran suicides happen within the first 3 years of them leaving service. Most leave their first job within a year. Most leave their first job, even more of them leave it within 2 years. So we got a lot of problems to help them do as they adjust to the culture. But, you know, we got to get out there and help them